If the flood truly submerged the highest mountains on Earth, physics demands that water still exists somewhere. Vast cubic kilometers of water cannot fade into nothing without contradicting the most fundamental physical laws. For generations, this contradiction has troubled scholars, dividing scientific reasoning from theological interpretation. Common explanations claim the water evaporated away, yet ancient writings describe a far more complex outcome. Some unsettling theories propose that the catastrophic ocean never disappeared and still exists somewhere today. To grasp this mystery, we must abandon simplistic images of rain falling gently upon a small wooden vessel. It mentions the fountains of the great deep erupting, implying a subterranean source rather than rainfall. If water surged upward from Earth's interior, logic suggests it eventually returned to those hidden depths again. That conclusion raises a frightening thought about what may truly exist far beneath the ground we walk upon. We are not speaking of empty caves, but of a colossal system capable of containing oceans within its voids. The Hebrew term tehom describes this abyss, conveying chaotic waters of immeasurable and almost monstrous depth. For many years, scientists dismissed ideas of enormous underground water reserves as myth or speculation. Yet, modern discoveries have forced researchers to reconsider long-standing assumptions about Earth's interior. Evidence of ringwoodite has been identified deep within the mantle's transition zone, beneath the crust. This mineral behaves like an immense sponge, holding water under pressures beyond ordinary human imagination. Estimates suggest enough water exists underground to equal several times the oceans on Earth's surface today. Such findings echo ancient descriptions of waters retreating into reservoirs hidden beneath the world itself. Psalm 104 declares that God set boundaries for the waters, so they would never again engulf the land entirely. But if the floodwaters returned below, what else might have been dragged into that same terrifying abyss? Here, geological speculation intersects with ancient traditions about rebellious celestial beings and judgment. The Book of Enoch describes watchers being bound within profound, shadowed valleys hidden inside the earth itself. Their confinement is portrayed not as symbolic, but as a tangible location existing somewhere within physical reality. As waters withdrew, immense pressure could have sealed passages leading into this submerged underworld forever. Picture a colossal force acting like a vault door, locking a maximum security prison deep beneath the planet. Ancient civilizations feared the underworld as a literal domain rather than a metaphorical realm of myth alone. Greek tradition spoke of Tartarus, a depth far beneath Hades, mirroring cosmic distances between earth and heaven. Interestingly, biblical texts use the verb tartarize to describe punishment inflicted upon rebellious celestial beings. This linguistic overlap hints that the abyss and angelic prison may represent the same hidden physical domain. The waters that once preserved humanity from destruction could now function as barriers confining ancient rebels. Yet the implications of a hydrological or cavernous Earth model become even more unsettling in modern times. If immense reservoirs remain below us, remnants of the flood may still exist beneath our feet right now. Earth's crust stability may depend upon a delicate equilibrium above these pressurized subterranean oceans. Some theorists interpret unexplained sky sounds, called skyquakes, as echoes from movements deep underground. Scripture says creation groans awaiting restoration, perhaps while containing remnants of ancient cosmic terror. Let us examine Earth's structure according to texts often ignored by contemporary academic interpretations. They portray land spread upon waters, imagery that challenges modern gravitational assumptions and models. Yet seismic research confirms enormous density anomalies present throughout Earth's deep mantle regions. Certain zones dramatically slow seismic waves, indicating molten material or vast liquid accumulations below. Humanity may literally walk across a thin ceiling above an immense reservoir filled with unknown forces. The Nephilim story may not have ended with their deaths, since their spirits were said to remain trapped. But if some possessed physical bodies and survived, could they have escaped downward into hidden refuges below? Legends of subterranean civilizations appear worldwide, from Tibetan lore to myths preserved in ancient Peru. Perhaps these were not human societies at all, but remnants of hybrid beings fleeing catastrophic waters. As the flood receded toward Earth's depths, it likely carried everything not preserved within the ark. This scenario would transform the planet's interior into both a colossal graveyard and a sealed prison complex. The biblical Leviathan is consistently linked with abyssal seas and unfathomable depths of primordial chaos. Could legendary sea monsters represent unknown creatures inhabiting that concealed subterranean ocean realm? Scripture refers to gates of death and shadow as though describing physical entrances rather than metaphors. In Job, questions arise about entering snow storehouses or witnessing gateways leading into the deep. All evidence suggests biblical geography might be far more literal and multidimensional than commonly assumed. The Old Testament term Sheol is often translated as grave, yet it fundamentally implies downward depth. Descriptions include bars, doors, and bolts, suggesting confinement located in Earth's lowest regions. Combined with hydrogeology, this implies vast flooded caverns forming an immense natural containment barrier. Water acts as both radiation shielding and an impassable boundary against whatever may dwell beneath. For centuries, mystics searched for Agartha or Shambhala, imagining paradises hidden somewhere beneath the earth. Yet biblical interpretations suggest opening such realms would unleash horrors rather than utopian worlds. Revelation foretells entities emerging from the bottomless pit to torment humanity upon the surface. This imagery resembles not allegory, but descriptions of physical breaches into subterranean chambers. If floodwaters remain preserved there, then memory of divine judgment still rests beneath our planet. Each powerful earthquake could represent shifting movements occurring within that immense hidden abyss beneath us. Energy released by tectonic movements could merely reflect deeper forces operating far beneath crustal layers. Let us return to the original question regarding the volume required to submerge Mount Everest completely. Such coverage implies Earth's pre-flood topography differed dramatically from its present geological form. Mountains may have been lower, while ocean basins were far less deep than the immense trenches we measure today. Psalm 104 describes mountains rising and valleys sinking to positions established by divine command. This imagery suggests a violent tectonic upheaval, reorganizing planetary surfaces within a short time frame. Immense water weight could have collapsed ancient crust, forcing seabeds downward and ranges upward. Thus, evaporation becomes unnecessary, since water would simply occupy newly formed depressions below. Yet, Nephilim mysteries persist, because their judgment was connected directly to this global flood event. Tradition claims spirits of the giants became wandering demons, influencing humanity after their deaths. Meanwhile, their angelic progenitors were imprisoned alive within submerged abysses beneath the earth. The Epistle of Jude states they remain bound in darkness, awaiting judgment on the final appointed day. Absolute darkness within mantle layers and ocean trenches corresponds remarkably with that description. Science has discovered extremophile organisms thriving without light under crushing environmental pressures. If simple life adapts there, how much longer might higher dimensional beings endure such conditions? The hollow earth idea is often mocked with fantasies of inner suns and green worlds hidden inside the planet. Yet biblical portrayals are darker. Flooded caverns, crushing pressure, confinement, and endless darkness. Such a system resembles a containment mechanism designed to neutralize an irreversible cosmic threat. This perspective may explain why ancient cultures performed rituals directed toward the ground itself. They sensed that beneath their feet rested forces far too dangerous to ever awaken under any circumstances. In Sumerian tradition, the Abzu represented a subterranean water source linked to both creation and hidden wisdom. Yet it was also considered the dwelling place of powerful entities capable of unleashing devastation if disturbed. This recurring theme across cultures hints at a shared memory of events tied to the ancient flood catastrophe. The waters did not merely cleanse the surface, they forced corruption into a quarantined planetary region. Now consider the technology required for any civilization attempting survival within Earth's interior zones. If the Nephilim possessed advanced knowledge, they might have constructed refuges before the waters erupted. Such a possibility could explain opats discovered embedded deep within geological layers of great age. Manufactured objects occasionally appear within strata dated millions of years older than humanity itself. These anomalies might represent remnants of pre-flood societies buried rapidly beneath mud and sediment. Fossil evidence reveals animals preserved instantly, indicating catastrophic burial rather than gradual decay. The process was sudden and violent, altering chemical conditions across the planet in dramatic ways. Waters from deep within Earth likely carried minerals and extreme temperatures during their eruption. These factors accelerated petrification, preserving snapshots of ancient ecosystems beneath hardened rock layers. Yet, if those waters still remain below, could the ancient fountains of the deep rupture open once again, someday? The Rainbow Covenant promises no global water deluge again, though other cataclysms remain possible. Scripture warns that Earth will stagger like a drunkard and eventually fracture violently during future upheavals. Such events could involve destabilization of subterranean chambers containing immense pressure and energy, not necessarily releasing water alone, but possibly whatever has been waiting in darkness for thousands of years. Naval reports describing objects entering and leaving oceans acquire new implications under this theory. If access points exist along ocean floors, such craft might originate below rather than outer space. Connections between unidentified aerial phenomena and subterranean realms appear repeatedly in paranormal studies. Humanity may watch the skies for threats, while the true unknown has always existed beneath our feet. The great abyss could function like a cosmic timer, holding prisoners until an appointed moment arrives. Only immense pressure from rock and water separates us from realities belonging to ancient, forgotten ages. It is remarkable that modern geology slowly begins mapping concepts described in Scripture thousands of years ago. Discoveries of mantle oceans are not mere curiosities, but parallels echoing ancient sacred narratives. Such findings encourage reconsideration of passages once dismissed as poetic exaggeration within Scripture. When texts mention beings beneath the earth bowing before God, they may reference literal inhabitants. Philippians identifies three realms: heaven, earth, and under the earth, each populated by conscious beings. This framework implies entities existing below, rather than metaphorical souls resting within burial sites. The biblical cosmos appears structured vertically, with the abyss forming its deepest foundational layer. Floodwaters may have reorganized this hierarchy, forcing chaotic forces into the lowest containment level. Every drop of water humanity drinks once belonged to the same substance that judged the ancient world. The hydrological cycle recycles molecules, yet most volume remains concealed within planetary reservoirs. Tehom's existence challenges views portraying Earth as entirely inert rock, devoid of internal vitality. Instead, it suggests a dynamic planet containing storage systems for consequences of past cosmic events. The essential question becomes not where water resides, but why it remains concealed beneath the surface. What role does this immense subterranean ocean play within Earth's physical and spiritual equilibrium today? Perhaps it regulates internal temperatures or stabilizes tectonic activity across the planetary crust. Yet symbolically, it remains a permanent reminder that humanity does not possess ultimate control over creation. Boundaries exist that humanity cannot cross, and forces beyond technological control remain permanently active. Deep-sea exploration and drilling projects resemble attempts to peer through a locked door's narrow opening. Some doors may be better left sealed, because we cannot predict what pressures exist on the opposite side. Human curiosity drives us toward Earth's center, yet warnings about the abyss are ancient and persistent. The underworld was never intended for human dominion. It belongs to what was expelled from the light. Ultimately, the flood concerned more than water. It marked separation between two forms of existence. Humanity received the surface world to inhabit, while rebels were confined within depths awaiting judgment. This spatial division has preserved relative stability across Earth for thousands of years since then. Prophetic traditions, however, indicate this separation will eventually collapse as boundaries fail. The abyssal pit will open, dissolving distinctions between surface reality and the hidden underworld. Understanding the flood's waters reveals a map of spiritual conflict unfolding within our world today. This struggle is not abstract warfare in clouds, but a territorial conflict involving this physical planet. The Watchers and Nephilim lost the first confrontation and were driven into deep watery confinement. Yet the conflict itself continues, and the battlefield is steadily being prepared for an eventual final confrontation. When you gaze upon the ocean, remember it represents only the visible surface of immense hidden depth. Beneath tranquil blue waters lies suppressed history involving humanity and ancient predatory forces. Reality suggests humanity lives upon a fragile crust of rock, floating above mysteries that remain unresolved. The great abyss exists, the waters remain, and whatever dwells there continues waiting through time. Subscribe now to uncover secrets official narratives have concealed from humanity for countless generations.